Hey boys and girls, and welcome back to In the Classroom with Miss Sip and Miss Pip. I'm Miss Pippi.
And I'm Miss Sip, and we're so glad to be here today. Miss Pip.
Yeah, Miss Sip.
We should have brought our sunglasses.
We should have.
Do you know why?
No.
We're going to be looking like stars today.
You know, I'm always a star.
Well, I'm always princess.
Now, Miss Sip, what are these stars you keep talking about?
Well, so today I have for us, and more importantly, the boys and girls, a really fun game.
I love a game.
We're going to play Mississippi Legends Trivia.
Ooh, I love trivia.
I know. What kind of legends do you think we're using?
Well, considering how much we keep talking about Mississippi, are we going to use people that are from Mississippi?
That's right. So you may have heard the word legend and think stories. We're not telling stories today, other than about our people. The word legend actually means somebody who's made a great impact and they've had a great life. And so we're really excited to introduce you to these legends if you've never seen them before, although I think you probably have. So boys and girls, go get your mom and dad or whoever's home, grab your brothers and sisters because you're going to want somebody to play the game and see who can get the most points.
Sounds like a plan.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, Miss Pippi, I'm going to give you the clues, and then you see if you can guess who it is.
Ooh, do I win a prize?
Sure. All right. The first thing we want to look at is our clue categories. So, all of our legends have 3 clues. Where they're from in our state, what they do for their career, and then an extra fun fact.
Ooh, I feel like we're going to learn a lot today, boys and girls.
Yes. Now, Miss Pippi, if you get stumped, would you like to be able to phone a friend?
Yes.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, you can't call anybody. But I have some bonus clues to help you if you have a little bit of trouble.
Okay, boys and girls, I think we can do it.
I think you can do it too. All right, here's our first set of clues. Legend number 1. So this legend is from Pass Christian, which is on our coast. And she is a morning news anchor. Before she went to Good Morning America, she worked at ESPN.
Now, I know this lady. She's a pretty good basketball player, and I think she even played some tennis.
She did. I think you're thinking of the right person.
So, I'm pretty sure we're talking about Miss Robin Roberts.
We are. We're talking about Robin Roberts. And so when the boys and girls are flipping through the TV, they can see a fellow Mississippian every morning on Good Morning America. Do you know anything else about her? You want me to share?
I do.
So she grew up in Pass Christian, and she actually worked in Biloxi and Hattiesburg here in Mississippi before she went to work at ESPN in Atlanta and eventually ended up in New York. So Robin Roberts has represented Mississippi all over our country, and we're so proud of her.
So, did I get a point for that one?
You get a point for that one. All right, 1 point, and we're ready for our next legend. All right, this legend is from Tupelo. He is a musician and an actor, and he still holds the record for top 40 hits, 114 of them total.
Wow. You know, Miss Sip, I should have worn my blue suede shoes.
You should have worn your blue suede shoes.
Because this legend is Mr. Elvis Presley.
I bet all the boys and girls got Elvis Presley, don't you think?
So, boys and girls, did y'all know that Elvis Presley was in 31 different films?
He was, and not only is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he's in the Country Hall of Fame, the Gospel Hall of Fame, Rockabilly, and Rhythm and Blues.
Wow.
That's probably why they call him the King of Rock and Roll. All right, Miss Pippi, that's another point for you.
Good job, boys and girls.
All right, let's see about this one. So this legend is from South Haven and is an author of legal thrillers. And 11 of his books have become movies. This one might be a little more challenging.
Well, you know, Miss Sip, my daddy sure likes to read those thriller books.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that we're talking about Mr. John Grisham.
We are talking about Mr. John Grisham.
So, let me think about John Grisham, because we don't really hear a whole lot about him. What's another way that we, our boys and girls, could identify him?
So, John Grisham has a great connection with one of our favorite authors, Miss J.K. Rowling, who wrote
Harry Potter.
our Harry Potter series. Do you know what house you're in, Hogwarts?
I'm not sure I need to go take that quiz.
You do have to do that. You know, I'm a Slytherin, but I want to be a Gryffindor. I think you're a Gryffindor. Okay. So, J.K. Rowling and then Tom Clancy and our own John Grisham are the only authors who have sold 2 million copies of a book in its first printing. And if you think about all the authors and all of the books in the world, that is a huge honor.
Now, Miss Sip, I think I've heard his name somewhere else. Where could I have heard it?
So he actually was a lawyer before he was a author, which might explain why he writes legal thrillers. And he served one term in our legislature, in the House of Representatives.
Very cool.
All right, are you keeping up with your score?
I think I have 3 points.
You've got 3 points. Let's look at our next legend. This is a star from Star. She's a musician and an actress, and she's the ultimate Mississippi girls. Do you think the boys and girls will be able to get this one?
I think we're going to need a bonus clue for figuring this lady
A
out.
bonus clue. So when the ultimate Mississippi girl was 7 years old, she came to Jackson to the Coliseum and she saw Elvis in concert. And you know, the Coliseum in Jackson is huge, and she was sitting at the very top. But when she tells the story, she says she felt like it was just her and Elvis. And that's when she made the decision that she was going to be a singer and an actress when she got older.
Well, now, you know, Miss Sip, a Mississippi girl don't change her ways.
She does not change her ways. I think you know who it
I'm
is.
pretty sure that we're talking about Faith Hill.
That is exactly right. And you know, Faith Hill, as to be a Mississippi girl that doesn't change her ways, and you know, she's been in movies, and she and her husband have had successful music careers. She actually still has a huge heart for our community. When Hurricane Katrina hit our Gulf Coast in 2005, she actually brought supplies down to Gulf Coast herself with her family.
What a great representation of Mississippi's hospitality.
And she also, at her concerts, collected books and then gave them to hospitals, libraries, schools, and preschools.
Wow.
Faith Hill really does honor Mississippi's spirit of hospitality.
Okay, boys and girls, I think we're up to 4 points.
That's right. All right, here's legend number 5. This person is from Charleston, Mississippi, not South Carolina. He's an actor, and he's known for his deep, smooth voice.
So I'm thinking about somebody who owns a very famous restaurant, but I think we might need to make sure we're right.
So you can catch this famous Mississippian on the sidelines of many Ole Miss basketball games.
So boys and girls, who do y'all think it is? I'm thinking it might be Mr. Morgan Freeman.
That's right. It is Morgan Freeman. Do you know that he loves Mississippi so much that when he found out there was I guess, a crisis with our bees, that our bees weren't healthy in our world, that he took his huge ranch in Charleston and he created a bee sanctuary. He planted magnolia trees and lavender so that not only could he support the farmers in the Delta that need the bees, but he's also helping protect our environment for everybody, not just Mississippians.
Wow. All of these Mississippi legends seem to be really focused on making sure Mississippi stays such a great place to live.
That's right. And you know, the thing is, Miss Pippi, when you're trying to be a leader, it's about serving others, not about serving yourself.
I like it.
All right, are you ready for the next one?
I think we're over 5 points, boys and girls.
All right, here we go. This legend is from Greenville. He was a puppeteer, and his best friend is a frog.
A frog? I've seen a frog museum somewhere up in the Delta.
Maybe in Leland?
I think so. I think there was a museum all about... Now I remember who it is. It's Mr. Jim Henson.
It is Mr. Jim Henson. And do you know what he's pictured here with?
That looks like his frog.
That is his frog. That's Kermit and Ernie. And they're not puppets. They're what?
I think that's called a marionette.
It's not called a marionette. It's actually called a Muppet.
A Muppet, that's it.
Do you know why it's called a Muppet, though?
Not sure.
So Mr. Henson combined a marionette with a puppet so that the puppets could move more. Boys and girls, we were pretty sure that you may have not seen a marionette before, but it is a puppet that is controlled by strings and poles above the stage. I have a better picture for you. So it looks like the puppets are walking around on their own, and so that is a marionette. So Jim Henson combined the word marionette with puppet and came up with
Muppets.
Muppet. Who's your favorite Muppet?
I'm pretty sure it's Gonzo.
Really?
Yes.
You know who mine is?
Who?
Miss Piggy.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. All right. That is how many points?
I think we're up to 6 points now, boys and girls. Am I right?
That is right. Here's our 7th legend. Now, this person is from Jackson, our capital city, an author and a photographer, and her home and gardens are historical landmarks that we can visit.
I know that I have been to this lady's gardens.
Have you?
I have. And I'm pretty sure that this lady wrote many short stories as well as novels. And she also attended the University of Mississippi for Women.
I think you're thinking of the right person. Who is it, Miss Pippi?
I'm pretty sure I'm going with the guess of Eudora Welty.
It is Mississippi's own Eudora Welty. And do you know that before she became a famous author, she actually worked for radio stations and newspapers in Jackson?
Nice.
She was the original communications major.
Okay, boys and girls, we're up to 7 points. Do y'all think we can make it all the way to 10?
We've got 3 people left. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident we can do it.
Okay. You know we've saved the hardest ones for last. So this legend is from Pascagoula, which is on our coast. He's a musician, and he's known for his famous beach sound, and they call it Gulf Western.
Now, Miss Sip, I'm going to need an extra clue on this one.
An extra clue? He loves a cheeseburger.
Now, I think we're talking my language, because y'all know I like mine with ketchup and tomatoes.
Just like our favorite.
Mr. Jimmy Buffett.
Mr. Jimmy Buffett. Do you know, would you consider yourself a fan of Mr. Jimmy Buffett?
Absolutely. I love to jam out to his music.
That means you're a parrot head.
A parrot head.
That's right. And your kids would be parakeets. Isn't that the best?
How fun.
What? If you had fans and gave them a name, what would they be?
If I had fans, I think I'd call them Miss Pippi's Pets.
That's right. I think that's That's such a great idea.
Now, I have how many points? I think we're up to 8, right, boys and girls?
That's right. All right, we've got 2 left. So this Mississippi legend is from Indianola. He's a musician, and his name is short for Blues Boy.
I've heard that name before, except we called him the King of the Blues.
The King of the Blues. Who are you thinking about?
I'm pretty sure we're talking about Mr. B.B. King.
That is right, Mr. B.B. King.
Now, I didn't know he was from Mississippi.
Yes, he's from Mississippi, and he actually has a museum in Indianola you can go and visit.
Oh, fun. Now, boys and girls, let's look at this picture. He's got a really fancy guitar.
He does have a fancy guitar. Do you know what he named his guitar?
I think it looks like a Lucille.
It is a Lucille. He had named all of his guitars Lucille, and that's a very well-known fact about him. Do you know what I would name a guitar if I had it?
What?
Broken. You know, I'm just not very talented in the music world. All right, are you ready for our last legend?
Okay, boys and girls, we are 9 for 9. We're going to get this last one and go 10 for 10.
So I will tell you, this one is probably the biggest challenge because he did not become legendary until after he passed away. Okay? He's from Biloxi, and he was a potter. And he's considered the first fine art potter in the United States. Now, that's not pots that you cook in. It's like bowls and fine plates.
That's that pottery that I put on my mantle that my kids know that they aren't supposed to touch.
That's right. Those are the things that my mama always had in her cabinet.
Now, if I'm thinking of the right person, he had a very unusual name that he would even call himself.
He did. He referred to himself as the Mad Potter of Biloxi.
So, boys and girls, I must ask you a question. I believe we're talking about Mr. George Orr.
That's exactly who we're talking about. And I want to talk to y'all just about a minute about Mr. George Orr because his life gives us a really great lesson. So he was very famous on the coast and in New Orleans for his pottery because it was beautiful. I have an example for you. You can see it's very whimsical and fun. It's not pottery just for the sake of pottery, like just a vase for flowers or a pitcher for water. It's beautiful and has the purpose for decoration. And so even though people at the time that he was alive thought that his works were just wild and crazy, he knew that one day he would be recognized. And so he packed up 8 pieces of pottery and sent them to the museum, the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, so they would be saved. And then he packed up 6,000 pieces of his artwork, and they were left in his artist studio that he built himself, which his sons turned into a mechanic shop.
Wow.
Yes. And so then one day an antique dealer was down on the coast and he was looking for antique cars. So he came into the shop, he saw the pottery, he paid for it, and he was the reason why we all know about George Orr today. And that was 50 years after his death, people finally recognized his genius.
Now, boys and girls, we've talked a lot about some very famous Mississippians today, and we hope that you've learned some fun facts about them. So let's recap some really important vocabulary that we've covered.
Yes.
So the first word we talked about whenever we started was legend.
That's right. Now, is that the kind of legend that's a tall tale?
No, that wasn't the one we talked about.
This is someone who's lived their life in a way that inspires others.
Very nice. So that next word we talked about was when we were talking about Mr. Henson. And we said that he combined marionettes with puppets to make Muppets. But do you remember what a marionette is?
It is a puppet that is controlled by strings from up above.
Very good.
This is probably my favorite of all our vocabulary words.
We use the word whimsical.
Whimsical. And you know, whimsical means fanciful and fun, and that's what George Orr's pottery was. But do you know what I like most about this word? It even looks whimsical.
Okay, boys and girls, so of course we have to end all of our Miss Sip and Miss Pippi episodes with a challenge.
Challenge!
So, the first thing you're going to do is grab a grown-up. We got to make sure that we're doing this with adult supervision. But then we want you to dress up or to draw your favorite famous Mississippian. Or y'all, draw yourself. You can be the next famous Mississippian.
That's right. And when you're finished, post a picture of your work to MPB Classroom TV on social media. But don't forget the most important step.
Share our hashtag. That way we make sure we see it.
Because you're part of the Sip and Pippi Challenge.
So, boys and girls, this is all we have for you today. I hope everybody has a great afternoon and enjoys the rest of your day.
And we can't wait to see all the Mississippi legends that you share with us on social media.